Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're going to get started momentarily. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining NeuraFlash's and Coveo's webinar, Intelligent Agent and Customer Experiences Powered by Service Cloud Voice, Einstein Bots, and Coveo. We're excited to have you join us today for this amazing session. We got some awesome speakers who are here to talk to you about how you can bring your contact centers and service channels into the 21st century with Service Cloud Voice and Bots. During this webinar, we'll discuss why you should integrate cloud-based telephony and Einstein Bots into one channel and power AI recommendations with Coveo to empower customers to self-service and increase your agent's efficiency. Let me quickly go over some housekeeping rules. After this webinar, we'll be sending the recording out to you all for your convenience. On the Zoom platform, to submit your questions, you'll see beneath the screen a bar pull up. In this bar, please click the Q&A button to submit questions anytime throughout the webinar. We'll have a 10-minute Q&A at the end for anyone to ask questions. Let me introduce myself. My name is Michaela McCarthy. I'm the event marketing lead here at NeuraFlash. I'm really excited for you to be joining us today. Let me introduce you to the speakers you'll be hearing from. First, I'd like to introduce you to John Heater, Senior Director of Product Management here at NeuraFlash. John has over 15 years of experience in AI and automation. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Eric Sang, our Director of Solutions Engineering. Eric has a deep expertise in the Service Cloud space. I would also like to introduce our awesome partners at Coveo who are co-sponsoring this webinar with us today. Bonnie Chase, Senior Product Marketing Manager, and Max Martin, Product Manager for Salesforce at Coveo. So without further ado, I'll hand this over to John Heater to get us started.
Great, thanks, Michaela. We've been having a lot of conversations with customers on how to improve their contact center, and in partnership with Coveo, helping customers deliver on that value. We wanted to use this webinar to help show what an intelligent contact center looks like and strategies for you to get started. So today we're going to give you a quick introduction to who NeuraFlash and Coveo are, and then we're going to discuss what an intelligent contact center looks like and why it matters, quickly get into a demo so you can see an intelligent contact center in action, and then talk through tactical steps for you to get started today and set yourself up for success. And finally, like Michaela just mentioned, we're going to open it up to address any questions this discussion might spark for you. So feel free to message your questions as they come to you, and we'll address them at the end. So with that, let's start with quick introductions. So on the NeuraFlash side, contact centers are a core component of who we are. For those that don't know, the DNA of our company really comes from three primary companies: Nuance, Haywire, and Salesforce. So at Nuance, our team led sales, development, and integration of some of the largest enterprise contact centers in the world. Haywire, which was a messaging product that enabled two-way SMS, was actually acquired by Salesforce and drives the backbone of the SMS channel on the Salesforce platform today. And of course, Salesforce, which is the basis of everything we do here at NeuraFlash. Collectively, the founding team has over 60 years of experience working in the AI and contact center space. We're also a Salesforce Platinum Consulting Partner with a dedication to customer success, as reflected in our Stellar App Exchange reviews. We work across Service Cloud, contact centers, Field Service Lightning, in addition to all the work we do with Einstein Bots and Service Cloud Voice. So really excited to talk about intelligent contact centers today. But first, let me pass it to Bonnie to introduce Coveo.
Thanks, John. Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to join the conversation today, and really just to give you a quick introduction to Coveo. Coveo is a relevance platform that stitches together your data, your customer data, and your journey data, and your content, and really uses AI to tailor and optimize every interaction to unify people's journeys. And you can really think of us as the intelligence behind all of the individualized experiences that people expect today, whether they're your customer, your channel partners, agents of your business, or even your own employees. And really, today we're talking about the service perspective. And from a service experience, for support leaders who have to balance those support costs with customer experience, Coveo is really the platform that helps you do both. So we're 100% cloud based, and really use three key factors to create relevance. And as I mentioned, it's that unified content and interactions and the specialized machine learning algorithms that really enable our customers to deliver relevant and personalized content at scale, which gets better over time. And so, really, the idea is that you can ensure that every digital interaction with your business is a meaningful one. And the next slide shows that we've been able to be leaders in both the Forrester Wave report and the Gartner Magic Quadrant. And so we've been a leader in these categories since inception. And the results are really based on real data. We've had great growth over the years. We've had over 1,000 customer deployments, and a really strong partner ecosystem. And so we are a Salesforce ISV partner, and we have a strong relationship there. And then, of course, integrations within the Salesforce ecosystem, plus our partners like NeuraFlash, who help us provide our customers with really great experiences in their ecosystems. John, I'll pass it back to you. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Bonnie. So let's talk about how to build an intelligent contact center. And why is an intelligent contact center so important? It's really because it's the best way to react, ensure that you can thrive during this period of constant change, particularly because we know these trends are only going to continue. So specifically, there's expectations that the contact center are going to continue to expect you to do more with less, support more channels than ever, and more channels continue to come that you're going to have to support. And your workforce is going to be highly dispersed. Right now, it's because so many people have to work from home, and eventually it's just going to be distribution amongst a bunch of different locations, which is all going to make automation more important now than ever before. At the same time, consumer expectations just continue to grow. So there's an expectation of immediate response on the channel the customer prefers, personalized to them. And oftentimes that overwhelms the teams that are trying to support those channels. Fortunately, though, technology is also changing, and it's never been better at processing all of the data exhaust that's generated from these contacts. Using that technology really allows us to drive automation and enhance experiences, and it's also enabling more and more enterprises to launch their AI journeys. So that's the landscape, but what is an intelligent contact center? When NeuraFlash and Coveo talk about intelligent contact centers, we really focus on four key capabilities. First is automation, so allowing you to scale your impact with customers without also needing to scale resources through things like self-service and guided service. Second is personalization. So ensuring that you aren't just giving canned responses in your drive for automation, but actually helping to solve the specific problems that your customers have. Relevance, which Bonnie mentioned before, it's critical to make sure that you can deliver the right service and the right response at the right time. And finally, analytics, key to ensuring that you're delivering outcomes and letting the data guide your decision-making process. So that, of course, makes sense conceptually, but what does it actually mean in terms of powering your contact center? The reason we focus on those themes is that they actually net out to different technologies and different solutions based on the channel and the use case that you're focused on. So when you apply those capabilities, automation, personalization, relevance, and analytics to chat and messaging, we're really talking about leveraging the power of Einstein bots. When we apply it to voice and phone channels, that means Service Cloud Voice and voice bots to help your contact center. And finally, when we apply those themes to your website, your community pages, your service console, that means things like knowledge retrieval and pulling critical insights for your agents. But ultimately, what really matters is the results. And by skillfully applying these technologies, our customers have been able to drive tremendous value and efficiency. So be it through relieving the burden on your contact center through automation with huge gains, as you can see in case deflection and handle time, or uplifting all of your agents to perform like your best agents by accelerating agent onboarding and identifying opportunities to upsell and expand relationships with your customers, or just overall driving customer experience with much deeper engagement and customer satisfaction. And regardless of the channel, we see that you can create a better and deeper experience with all of your users. But as I mentioned, enough with talking about it. Let's actually see an intelligent contact center in action. So for that, I'm going to hand it off to Eric and Max to step us through how NeuraFlash and Coveo enable these capabilities.
Great, thank you, John. So to really tie together a lot of the concepts and themes that John and Bonnie just outlined there, we've created a quick demo to illustrate not only some of the products and features, but also how some of this applies perhaps to your contact center as well. So we're going to start off the demonstration with Service Cloud Voice. And what we're going to demonstrate here is perhaps a customer that is inquiring about a technical support issue to a company called NeuraFlash Technologies. So you're going to see a lot of the themes early on in terms of personalizing the conversation by being able to identify the customer, be able to be predictive or proactive about the nature of the interaction. So you'll see it's actually going to do a quick lookup and understand that the customer may be inquiring about an existing router they've purchased. And then we will also try to drive some self-service and process automation and trying to drive some case deflection there. And then really from there, we're going to show a lot on what happens once the call perhaps needs to get over to an agent, and we show an escalation process from there. So as the customer, let me go ahead and give this number a quick call, and we'll take a listen into this call here.
Hi there, Eric. Thanks for contacting NeuraFlash Technologies and being a loyal customer. I see you've recently purchased our latest gigabit routers and PoE switches. Is this why you're calling in today?
Yes, we're currently unable to connect any devices to the routers.
So sorry to hear that. On your main network server, are there any indicator lights flashing a green?
No, there aren't.
And can you confirm power is getting to each of the switches? Each switch should be in green in the mobile diagnostics application.
No, there's a few switches that are actually in red.
For routers that are not receiving power, please power cycle them. You can do this by shutting off the router, waiting 10 seconds, and turning it back on. Were you able to solve the issue?
Yes, that worked.
Great. What else can I help you with today?
I'd like to ask an expert a few questions about the setup guide.
Setup guides are best reviewed with a member of our technical support team. Let me get you over to an engineer who can help. Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received.
And then you'll see from here, once this voice bot that we've created passes the conversation over, we're going to hop over to perhaps what the agent view looks like within Service Cloud. So you'll see here a call is actually being routed right to the agent in omnichannel based on the skills and availability. So just as your team today may be leveraging omnichannel for email to case, digital channels such as chat or SMS, we now can leverage that same technology and that same foundation to also natively route a voice call right to the right agent here. And you'll see here, this is the basic screen pop that we have. When we think about the themes around intelligent service, notice we can drive a lot of reduction of average handle time and case deflection based on the information the bots provided. So you'll see here, we have a voice call record that immediately will pop. And this gives us some basic information about the actual inquiry from the customer. And then we can also pop the relevant contact information. So we know exactly who this customer is, what company they're calling in from. Previous case history can also be surfaced immediately in the console view. So this can, again, drive a lot of reduction in average handle time. Some of the other features you also notice as I'm actually speaking into my mic as the agent, this is the real-time voice-to-text transcription, which gives us some unique capabilities from an intelligence perspective. So it not only provides the agent with a head start where they can view exactly how the customer was interacting with that voice bot or that IVR, but then we can also start triggering some intelligent features of Einstein right within the Service Cloud console. So one of these in particular is a feature called Next Best Action. And so perhaps this is an engineer or an agent at the organization that may be unfamiliar with how to handle a router issue. And so we can actually use Next Best Action to sort of drive what's recommended or a guided path to actually resolve this issue here. And once this agent goes ahead and accepts this action here, you can see we can also start to drive things like a call script. So you'll see we can identify who the customer is, give them a sense of exactly how they should respond, what type of questions they may need to ask. So because we know they're inquiring about setup guides, there may be some additional questions or some clarifications we may need. And we might find out from the customer as we're speaking through this that they're inquiring about update procedures and processes. And again, we can provide additional scripts that are dynamic based on the responses. And you'll see we can also start to be transactional on the actual profile for the customer. So you'll see in that case, we could perhaps subscribe them to an email or an SMS alert based on new updates. So it's a great way not only to, again, drive the efficiency from a call scripting perspective, but from a process automation perspective, we've perhaps just subscribed them to notifications, dispositioned a bit of the case, and really supported an initial wrap-up time for the call as well. And as John mentioned, knowing that lots of contact centers are operating in more of a remote setting now, one of the great features of Omni Supervisor that we now have is that we can also blend and also have a complete view across channels of the workload on the agents. So you'll see here, this is the actual supervisor view of the team, and we can see perhaps this is an agent that's staffed on both chat and phone. We can see in real time what their workload and capacity is and start to get an understanding across the team what the workload looks like. And one of the great features as well is we're looking to further enhance automation and reduce average handle time. We can also monitor these actual voice call records. So you can see as the supervisor, I can actually click into the call, monitor the transcript in real time, and then provide some coaching or next best steps to provide the agent some support there as well. Now, naturally, as we showed with the next best action feature, one of the core components that are critical on the phone channel is being able to provide efficient service. And so naturally, there may be some content or knowledge that the agent may need to view to be able to support the customer. So to talk a little bit more about that, I'm going to pass it over to Max to talk about the Coveo Insights panel here.
Great, yeah, thanks, Eric. Hi, everyone. I'm excited to walk you through the Coveo Insight panel. So as you can see here on the right side of the screen on the case view, the Insight panel really helps agents with finding the relevant content to solve the cases efficiently with Coveo's machine learning. So the first thing that you can notice are the badges that recommends content to the agent. So really, this is done based on the case information. So based on the case name, the case description, what we're doing is we're leveraging a machine learning model to really being able to predict what's going to be the most relevant content for the agents. So really making that experience seamless and really pushing content to agents without they even have to search for it. So as you could see here on the screen as well, we were scrolling up and down, and you could see that there were different types of content. So with the Coveo index, you can easily bring content from Salesforce knowledge articles, Salesforce cases, also YouTube videos, and even some knowledge articles that are outside of Salesforce. So really being able to unify that data and get those that content outside of Salesforce, as you can see here, like those YouTube videos. So the other thing that you can notice if we scroll a little bit back up, so you could see that we have some insights about what information has been already viewed by the customer. So how does that work is really that we're tracking your customers on the community, and we can see that the customer has already read an article. For example, that top article was already read by the customer in the community. So that really gives more context to agents to really personalize a conversation. And they might not want to attach maybe that article because it was already read. So what we're going to do now is just to see how it works. We can attach an article to the case, and we're going to take the second one right here and just click on attach. And that was easily attached from the Coveo panel to the Salesforce case. Now we're going to go back up to the top, and we're going to search for setup videos. So router setup video. Here we go. And you can see here, because I personally think it's always great to have a video as well as a knowledge article to really show how things work. So you could see that we can attach, the results are returning all videos, and then we can again here attach that first result, and then send it as an email with the icon as an email. And you can see that it easily and seamlessly integrates with the Salesforce case object. So you can, your email is ready to send for your customer. So as you just saw here, we've added the Coveo Insight panel, and you can see how it seamlessly integrates with Salesforce and really help agents finding the content they need quickly and helping them solve cases faster. So I'm going to pass it back to you, Eric. I think we're going to jump into the community now. Yep. Here we go. Great. So now that we're in the community, so before we even go into the chatbot, I think this is something that we're excited to see. Typically, the customer is going to start the experience with leveraging the community. So 2 best practices on the community homepage is definitely to make the search box very prominent and power it by machine learning. And as you can see here a little bit at the bottom of the screen, we've also added some recommendations content that really help the customer finding the right articles that they need. So similarly here, what we're trying to do is we're trying to push relevant content to the customer so that they don't even need to search for it. So based on the customer profile and based on the products that they already own, we can predict what content is going to be relevant to the customer based on similar customers and what they've been clicking on and what they've been searching for. So now we're going to go back to the top and go ahead and search for troubleshooting router. So this is an issue that we have right now as a customer. So we're going to go ahead and search. And then as you can see here, both the search and the search results are powered by Coveo. And one of the key points again here is for your community, the content is also powered by machine learning. So based on what people are searching and clicking, we're able to find the most relevant content to help your user. And the same thing here, the content that you've been indexing in the Coveo index will be available not only for agent, but you can control which content will be available for customers as well, and in the chatbot, which we're going to see a little bit later. So here, again, we have YouTube videos, knowledge articles from Salesforce. We can have knowledge article from outside of Salesforce as well. And we're going to go ahead and click on the first result on the quick view, the little icon. Here we go. And as you can see here, we can watch a YouTube video from within the community. So that's pretty cool because you can keep your customer in the community. So really having a nice unified customer experience. And also that's good because you can keep your analytics and keep all tracking the clicks of your customer within your platform to really learn more about your customers and what they care about and what they're watching. Because if you send them on a different tab on YouTube, then you're gonna lose track of that data. And finally here, if we're going back to the search page, so very powerful search page with filters. At the top, you can see there are tabs with cases, so you can find cases that are relevant based on the query that we've performed a little bit earlier. So now I'm going to pass it back to you, Eric, to look at the chatbot experience in the community.
Great, thanks, Max. So continuing on our journey with the customer, as Max had mentioned, we showed what it looks like from a voice call perspective, leveraging Service Cloud Voice. And now perhaps if we move into perhaps a few days or a few weeks later, the customer may have a separate inquiry and they decide to perhaps visit the community page, go through that process that Max had just outlined with Coveo. And perhaps they actually want to leverage more of a real-time engagement channel. So they might prefer to actually go right into chat. So you'll see here, as the customer, we can go ahead, click to chat, and be brought right to an Einstein bot experience. And so here at NeuraFlash, we're helping lots of organizations create Einstein bots to drive some of the same themes we showed on Service Cloud Voice, but really bring it to more of a conversational layer with digital channels here. So you can see same themes around proactivity, being able to identify who the customer is, and personalize that conversation as well. You'll see here, because we have an understanding or awareness of the different medium that the customer is interacting on, we can see that they're perhaps in this case troubleshooting or researching some troubleshooting steps for some routers. And the bot can quickly do a quick question just to verify if that's why they're inquiring about today. And then once we go ahead and do confirm that, the bot can actually dive in a step further, ask a follow-up question, and then this is where we start leveraging some of those intelligent features such as Einstein's natural language. So you'll see here we can go ahead and type in natural language exactly what our issue might be. I can say perhaps I'm receiving an error code on one of our applications. And you'll see this is perhaps one of those high volume use cases that the NeuraFlash Technologies team is currently helping customers with on a daily basis. And so we use to train the bot on how to respond, how to identify and also respond to this type of inquiry. And maybe something as simple as checking a power supply in this case, and perhaps this is driving some initial case deflection. But perhaps it's something a little more complicated and it's not quite able to help the customer. This is really then when we start to leverage additional search features and functionalities. So we try to provide some level of self-service. In this case, the bot's now actually also going to leverage Coveo search as well. So this is actually leveraging a combination of Coveo search and the NeuraFlash UI UX enhancer. This is a format that we've created that presents some mini cards and some options, and you'll see here are some links to some existing knowledge articles that can potentially help the customer, again, self-service. So it's a way to kind of bridge the gap. We try to provide, again, some relative response back, but then also do a more complete search across all the content to try to drive additional case deflection as well. As Max mentioned, we can index and search for other content as well. And with the NeuraFlash UI UX enhancer, we can also play some of those videos and interact with that content right within the embedded service UI here. For the purposes of the demo, now this may have provided a level of service, but to show the escalation, perhaps this customer needs additional assistance from an agent. I'm going to jump over to the Service Cloud console again, and you'll see here, just as we saw a voice call getting routed through omnichannel to the right agent, we now have, again, the same methodology to actually route our digital channels as well. So you'll see here, chat's getting routed through Omni. It's going to be assigned to, again, the agent with the right skills and the availability to handle this chat. And you'll see from an efficiency standpoint, we also have that full bot transcript prior to escalation, so we know exactly how to jump into the conversation. And then you can see from a customer's perspective, we're now in this two-way communication right within Salesforce chat, but the bots provided a lot of initial content and recommendations to really give not only the customer a head start, but also the agent a head start on how to handle this type of inquiry here. And just as we showed Coveo Insights panel with Service Cloud Voice, I'll also pass it over to Max to show you some additional features of the Coveo Insights panel for a more specific chat type interaction here.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. So yeah, we're jumping back on the Coveo Insight panel on the right side of the screen. And as you can see here, a few differences. So you can see that the content automatically change based on that case information and the description and all the data that we have from that interaction with the chatbot. So basically here, super relevant content change automatically based on the new information that we have from that case. So again, here the agent could easily perform some actions and add that content to the case. But what we're going to also take a look at is the user action. So basically, if we click on the clock a little bit higher here exactly, you can see the recent queries that was performed by the user and the document that were clicked on by the user. So, so basically what just happened in the community, we are sharing real-time analytics with the agents so that again here they can fully understand the full customer journey. So the documents that were clicked on, the videos that were being watched, the queries that were being made in the past. So with all that data, the agents are able to personalize the conversation, have more context, and be more relevant with their customers.
Great, thanks, Max.
Yep.
To wrap everything up, we've showed a lot of concepts, lots of different channels of interaction, different mediums where customers may be interacting on. The most important thing, as John Heater had mentioned, was how do we actually report on and aggregate the data and really visualize some of the performance of the team here. So I wanted to review a few of the dashboards we have. This actually goes back to that first demo where we showed Service Cloud Voice. And so here's kind of a quick dashboard where you can see in real time exactly the performance of the team across some KPIs for the voice channel. So we can see things like call volume, average handle time, average hold time, and we have the ability to perhaps drill down into some of the data and make some more data-informed decisions across the business here. In a similar methodology we have here, this is a Einstein Analytics dashboard called the NeuraFlash Insights package specifically for Einstein Bots. And you can see here, this is where, again, we can aggregate what the most important KPIs are for the business. In this case, for bots, we can start tracking things like number of interactions or engagements, start to track case deflection rates with the bot. So as you saw in the example we showed, how effective is that bot at giving valid responses and answers to try to drive that case deflection, and then where and when we need to pass over to an agent in the Service Cloud console, how effective is that information that's passing to the agent in reducing average handle time. And we track all these metrics over time as well with some trend lines. And across the experiences, whether it's on voice or with bots, it does give us the opportunity to then take an even higher level view within Salesforce across all of our case management channels. So whether that's on chat or email or phone, we can now see across the entire service team in the organization exactly in real time and answer that question of exactly what's happening with my contact center today. So we can see case reasons, prioritization, the types of cases, again, see some trend lines over time, but it gives us a way to segment the data by specific views, drive towards specific use cases for that, and then again, make decisions on how we might want to identify the use cases or root causes of some issues, and then actually create a plan to actually optimize or improve from there. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to John Heater.
That was great. Thanks, guys. So Max and Eric just showed you what an intelligent contact center looks like in action. So let's close on how you can get started today to start building experiences like the ones they just showed you. To do that, we're going to step through 3 steps that you can get started on right away. The first is making sure that you have your team set up with the tools for success. And really, what are those tools for success? Second, look for some pre-built options to help expedite you on your journey. And third, building a plan for success so that you can be on a path to easily implement a lot of the features that you just saw. So let's start with the tools for success. When you start on your journey, you want to make sure that your team has everything that they need to succeed. And really, it comes down to 3 main focus areas. First is around contact center expertise. So if you're running a contact center team, you realize all of the complexities around the operations and complexities of your business. And what you want to make sure is that your team has that expertise as well to make sure that you set yourself up for success. Second, the AI capabilities are really what add the intelligence to the intelligent contact center. So you'll want to make sure that you leverage tools like the Einstein capabilities of Salesforce and Service Cloud Voice, as well as the power of Coveo to put your data to work for you. And finally, Salesforce is the platform everything's running on. So you'll want a team that understands how best to leverage the platform to get the outcomes that you're looking for. And those are really the areas where NeuraFlash and Coveo really thrive. Once you have these tools and team in place, the other thing to note is you don't actually have to start from a blank canvas. look for some pre-built options to help speed you on your way on your journey. Our team at NeuraFlash has built many Einstein bots, as Eric mentioned, and we work closely in partnership with the Coveo team to help expedite you with a lot of the capabilities that you saw in the demo. So if you don't have an Einstein bot or really want to push one forward, we have something called CaseBot and the SalesBot, which are App Exchange products that can help you right away launch with some of the experiences that we demonstrated. With the CaseBot, you can drop in an Einstein bot, have a quick visual builder that allows you to match the look, the feel, the personality of your Einstein bot with your company and help you create, update, manage your caseload right out of the box. And SalesBot can do a lot of the same things for your sales team and sales use cases. It's an Einstein bot that can help generate and create leads out of the box. And both of these can come pre-configured to Coveo to help intelligently answer the long tail of many questions that your customers and users might have. And you can find both of these on the App Exchange today. And it's a good option so that you can really supercharge both the experience and generate case data to help you build a longer term roadmap. And finally, at NeuraFlash and Coveo, this is what we do. So please reach out to us to kick off your AI journey with a free contact center analysis today. We can help you identify what your top use cases are, best areas of opportunity, run a health assessment of your knowledge base, just get a sense of how your information is set up to make sure that you're set up for success, and put together a plan and an ROI for you to get started. So please reach out to us. I'll put up contacts for John Hostetler, our VP of Sales, as well as Dahlia, the partner manager at Coveo for Salesforce SIs. And both of them would be more than happy to help you get started on your journey. So with that, let me turn it back over to Michaela for Q&A.
Thank you all for such a great session. So we got some great questions, so let's dive into our Q&A. Our first question here is for Max. So are you able to drive the knowledge articles off of real-time conversation, or is it only based off of the case subject and description?
Yeah, thanks, Michaela. That's a really good question. I would say it's not limited to the case information. So yes, you can input multiple types of data into Coveo's machine learning to really recommend the right articles. So it could be a live chat transcript, it could be a chatbot, it could also be from voice, the voice transcript as well. I would say yes. So there's multiple types of data that you can learn from and really customize to bring some relevance and show the right knowledge articles and also any other type of self-service content as well.
Thanks, Mac. Our next question is, what are some challenges that a customer might be experiencing that they should engage with Coveo and NeuraFlash for help with?
Yeah, I can start answering that question. I think that's also a great question. I think as you've seen today, there's multiple solutions, and I think the goal really is to help you scale your customer service and really empower your agents with some intelligence. And there are multiple pain points that you might have. One of the pain points that we hear a lot, the challenge that we solve is really unifying that content and learning from that content. So by that, I mean, you might have some content articles that are outside of Salesforce or any other type of self-service content that you want to index and show to your agents. So I would say like that's typically like a big pain point. So some customers have siloed information, siloed content, and with the Coveo index, we can bring all of that together and apply a layer of machine learning that really helps with automation and scaling. So I would say that's a pain point that I see. I don't know on your side, NeuraFlash, maybe Eric or John, did you have other challenges that you solve often?
Yeah, from our perspective, what we try to do early and often is identify what are the kind of the current pain points, and really use a data-driven approach to identify the root cause of that. So we do a lot of initial kind of data analysis, specifically for around Einstein bots and conversational AI, really identifying what does the current process look like today, or what does that back and forth look like between the agent and the customer, and really from there identifying those top use cases. How do we drive the automation and case deflection across that? And really, it's understanding that business process that we kind of foresee as kind of some of the initial challenges. It's not always parts of the technology that may be causing some of the issues currently. It's always taking a step back, looking at the process and determining, are there some process improvements or enhancements we need to make in conjunction with the technology change as well.
Thanks, Eric and Max. The next question is, you talked a lot today about different products here. Where do you recommend we get started?
Hey, Michaela, this is John. I can take that one. Really, you want to make sure that you tailor your journey to where you're at in your contact center. So the answer is it sort of depends. The things that we typically look at is your current case management system. Are you managing and handling cases? Are you coming into it fresh? Assuming that you have some sort of data there, we'll usually analyze the case information, be it emails, chats, voice, whatever, to identify sort of what your top running use cases are and your biggest opportunities for improvement, so that you can get the big bang for the buck right away. And then we'll usually create a roadmap and projected ROI based on that information, and kind of help you figure out which channels to start with and how to slowly expand.
Thanks, John. Our next question is, how long is a typical Service Cloud Voice project?
Yeah, I can take that one, Michaela. So a typical Service Cloud Voice project for us, I think first and foremost is really identifying exactly the requirements and the priorities, some of the user stories, and understanding what the current telephony solution in place looks like today. We've created a variety of kind of quick starts or jump starts for the program, but really it depends on building out the right requirements for that as well. We're seeing a lot of interest and a lot of overall excitement around the actual Service Cloud Voice product, and we're helping lots of organizations build that out. And I can say that the product enables us to move quickly and smoothly across the kind of transition from a more legacy system onto Service Cloud Voice. And then we have that expertise around Service Cloud and case management to make sure we build out the right workflows for the agents as well. So I'd say it's certainly timeline certainly varies for projects, but we're able to move swiftly through any kind of migration projects we have there as well.
Thanks, Eric. So our next question is, it feels as if these use cases are more geared towards break-fix cases. Are there examples of how to use these technologies for more open-ended support educational topics?
Yeah, this is John, and I can talk to that a little bit. So we have a lot of customers across many different verticals, and a lot of times there is sort of the educational understanding how to do something, and that's part of tying into the Coveo platform helps as well. Really get to that long tail of questions that we can service tutorials, guided service. It doesn't always have to be fully transactional fixes to the point of that question.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can add to that as well. So as an example, when we talk about unifying content, it's really bringing in, as Max and Eric have said, those outside sources. So for example, if your customer is going to your support site or self-service site, and they go and they log in, we know who they are. We know the products that they own and the content that they've looked at in the past. And so in addition to the search, bringing those relevant results, just the experience itself, where we can recommend content based on, people like you have looked at content like this. So if you've just purchased a new product, we can recommend, the proper training that most people would need if they purchase that product. We can recommend, these are the types of content that people have looked at that maybe they needed to learn how to do something, follow a tutorial, follow a training. So it's really about bringing the customer what they need whenever they need it. And so whatever that intent is, if you have content that matches that intent, we will connect the dots for you.
Thanks, Bonnie and John. Our next question here is, in terms of project delivery, how long would it take to implement this Coveo, Amazon Connect, Service Cloud Voice, and Neura Analytics solution like the demo of today?
Yeah, I can take that one here. I think it coincides with the previous question around implementation there. A solution like we showed today that is multifaceted, showing across all those different products and use cases. Again, the value of the product is we can move swiftly on it. I mean, I think a solution like we showed today would be achievable within a 2 to 3 month type timeline there. But again, as the prioritization of the features might scale down, if we want to start with something a little smaller to start with, we're seeing some projects with Service Cloud Voice go live within a month there. So again, it depends on the feature set, but we're not talking about a long-term project that's multi-year to get something up and running like we showed today. It's really a matter of months before we can get something like this up and running.
Thanks, Eric. Our next question here is, how does one measure ROI around implementation for Einstein Bots?
Yeah, I can take that one. A lot of times with the Einstein bot, to be successful, you just want to be really clear on why you're implementing it. So your ROI is going to be a little different depending on the use case. So if you're going for a use case similar to what you saw in the demo today, where you're trying to drive less pressure in your contact center and deflection, you're really going to want to understand what the cost per those contacts with your chat agents are and measure it through deflection. And then the other thing that an Einstein bot can do is drive partial automation. Even if it can't fully service or address a question, at least perform some of that functionality, collect some of the information for your agents, and decrease agent handle time as well. So with a use case like we have, you want to look at those key factors in particular. You can also have more sales and revenue generating use cases if you're going to collect leads or try to drive sales on a website. And again, you'll want to make sure that your ROI and your KPI is tied directly to your use case and that you have the analytics behind it to support right away, like Eric showed you during the demo.
Thanks, John. Our next question is, you mentioned a pre-built Einstein bot. Where can we get more info on those?
Yeah, no problem. So for the sales bot and the case bot, you can find information on both of those actually on the App Exchange. So if you go to the App Exchange, search for NeuraFlash, you'll see both of those products to be able to get information and how to pull them down. And then similarly, if you reach out to John Hostetler and Dahlia through the contacts we showed before, we can also happily show you demos and answer more specific questions if you have them.
Thanks, John. Our next question is how do search and recommendations improve customer service KPIs?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that really ties to the use case. So, we have there are KPIs on the customer self-service side as well as the agent-assisted side. And when you think about from the agent-assisted side, for example, we know that I think it's 44% of agents aren't able to find the answers that they need. I think that was from a Salesforce report in 2019. And the reality is that, agents have to jump around to multiple systems and trying to find the information is one of the biggest challenges. So having an AI powered search that provides the relevant content so that as you're solving a case, you can actually find the answer, that's key. That really has helped drive metrics like mean time to resolution, lowering mean time to resolution, first call resolution, and really improving the customer satisfaction that comes with those service interactions. We've seen different KPIs ranging from improved NPS and CSAT, case deflection skyrocketing, as well as on the customer customer engagement as well. So it really depends on the use case that you're applying this technology to, but we have seen great results both on the customer self-service and agent assisted side.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Yeah.
Our next question is what does Coveo recommendation specifically do that out of the box we cannot do with Einstein? Does it analyze a call transcript and recommend support content dynamically, for example?
That's a great question. I can take that one. To answer that last question, yes, we can do that. So we can analyze the call transcript and recommend the content that is the most relevant based on that. And I would say like there's really two things that for Coveo's machine learning that differentiates is first, the type of machine learning. So we have multiple models, whether it's for query suggestions, whether it's for category suggestions, but we also have machine learning models when it comes to content recommendations. So some of them are based on trending documents. Some of them are based on people like you also have done this. So that kind of brings me to the other point is that we're looking at multiple data points. So we're looking at your search history, we're looking at your profile, the products you've purchased in the past, and we're also learning from the external content that you're leveraging. So let's say you're looking at a YouTube video within the community, and this YouTube videos is about a specific type of product. So we're learning from that. So every piece of content, even if it comes from external content, if it's in the Coveo index, we can learn from that and really have predict what are going to be your areas of interest or what's going to be most relevant for the user.
Thanks, Max. Our next question here is how long is a typical Einstein Bot project?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, depending on some of the use cases and requirements across that, we have different types of packages we offer for bots as well. We're seeing, some of the initial kind of drivers for some of our bot projects around the types of use cases, the types of content and FAQs we perhaps need to train the bot on, and then whether or not we need to integrate to some other third-party systems to make the bot a little bit more transactional. But typical bot projects fall in line similarly to how we operate on Service Cloud Voice. So depending on the feature set, could be a 1 to 2 month project. If it gets a little more advanced, could be more of a 2 to 3 month type project there as well.
Thanks, Eric. Our next question here is how does the Coveo machine learning work?
Hey, Michaela, I'm going to take that one as well. So I feel like it's a little, good question, similar to the other one that we got a little bit earlier. So I talked about the types of machine learning, the data that we use, and maybe the other point that I want to add is really how does it work in terms of if you want to use the machine learning model. So those models are out of the box in the Coveo solution. So it's pretty easy to add them to your solution. So you don't need to have data scientists or and experts in data science. So you can really add the models to your what we call the query pipeline. So you can add your models for your recommendations and search. And you can also use A/B testing if you want to see the performance of those new machine learning models.
Thanks, Max. Our next question here is what channels does the Einstein Bot support?
I can take that one there, Michaela. So we showed Einstein Bots today on a community using Salesforce chat, but other digital channels that it also supports are SMS and Facebook Messenger. As we mentioned, our background as an organization at NeuraFlash is from Haywire, which actually is the backbone for those digital channels. And it also supports WhatsApp as well. And the Salesforce product team is constantly adding new channels, but those are the ones that are currently available today.
Thanks, Eric. Our next question here is how does licensing work for community users when it comes to Coveo? I want to give the same experience to all users. Does it still require to have user-based Coveo license, or we can use queries per month?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I'm gonna take that one. So In terms of licensing, so when it comes to Community Cloud, it's really with queries per month. So we're looking at licensing and the queries per month, so the number of queries that your community customers make. And on the Service Cloud side, it's with user-based as a Coveo license. But at the end of the day, I think it's a seamless and it's a full experience for the customers and the agents. But in terms of licensing, we have these two models, and we could follow up. Our commercial team could follow up to answer that questions with giving you more details about our pricing.
Thanks, Max. So we are at time, so this will be our last question for the day. What are the benefits of Service Cloud Voice?
Yeah, I can take that. A couple of key areas we usually focus on. Some of it's around the features, so I won't go into it in too much detail. You saw a lot of that on the demo that Eric and Max did, but you can get the live transcripts coming through, use that to power a lot of automations for the agent. The other piece is that it's integrated directly into your Salesforce org. So if you're using the Service Console, phone doesn't become an extra thing agents have to sign into something separate. It's all unified in one place. All work, regardless of the channel, comes through Omni, and you can have a uniform view of how you both manage your cases, but also the analytics that go along with it to see how phone performs compared to every other channel as well.
Thanks, John. So we are at time here. So any questions we didn't get to, we will reach out to you. But I want to thank you all so much for joining our webinar today. We know your time is important, and we really appreciate you spending this time with us. We want to help you. If you're looking to get started on your AI journey, be sure to reach out to NeuraFlash and Coveo. As John said, if you're interested in learning more, we can help you reach out to John Hostiller and Dahlia from Coveo with any questions to set up a time to talk. Their contact information is on this slide here, and I'll be sending the recording out afterwards for you as well. Thank you again for joining us today, and we're looking forward to talking with you soon. Goodbye.